What's up guys, this is Chris from VFX On, and in this tutorial I'm gonna be showing you how to make a awesome looking exploding text intro. Okay, so before we start, we will need two plugins for Cinema 4D. So the first plugin we will need is called Thrausi. So I will leave a link for this plugin down below in the description. So just download the plugin for whichever version of Cinema 4D you have and place it into Cinema 4D plugins folder. The other plugin we will need is called Magic Slow Motion, also from Nitro 4D. And download it and put it in Cinema 4D plugins folder. The link will be also in description. Okay, now that we have those plugins, we can start with making our text. So I'm gonna type VFX, change the font to Eras Demi ITC, depth to about something like this, horizontal spacing to, I don't know, something. Actually, I will change that a bit later. I'm gonna increase the size to, let's see, I don't know, let's go with something like this. And now let's adjust the spacing. Something like this. Okay, I could type everything, VFX and then on, but I'm gonna do it separately. So here, this will be VFX, and to duplicate, press Ctrl and just drag. So now I have another copy of the text, and I'm gonna type on, drag that to here. And let's go with that. And I'm just gonna rename this to on and this to VFX. Okay, I'm gonna group these, and to group, press Alt plus G. I'm gonna name this original, and I'm gonna duplicate this, or actually I'm gonna drag these both out. So Control and just drag. And press Alt and click so that you don't see that you see both of these are red, which means that the original text is not turned on, is not showing. So the reason why I duplicated the text is because for the Thrausi plugin. So what I'm gonna do now is go to Plugin, Thrausi, and here you can see pieces. The pieces are how many pieces the text or your object will be broken. So currently there is only 2 pieces, so I don't know, it's gonna be broken like that or something, I don't know, and there will be only 2 pieces. So I'm gonna go in the original video. What I did and found best to work for me was that I broke this into 2 pieces, and then I did break it again into 50 pieces. But just for the sake of tutorial, I'm gonna break it into like I don't know, let's go with I'm gonna go with 70 pieces, and then go to dynamics and mode, change that to on collision, back to Thrausi, and I'm gonna be back when the break is finished. So press break and I'll be back. Okay, so the text have been broken down into those pieces, and let's do the same for on. So plugins, Thrausi, and let's go with again 70, dynamics on collision, and I'll be back when that's done. Break. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm gonna group these. So I'm gonna name this on, and this one will be, oops, this one will be VFX. Okay, so that's done now, and we need, what I need is to make it explode. And I'm gonna do that by making a sphere. Gonna move it to here, increase its size, something like that. Actually, something like that, not like totally the width. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and I'm gonna move it back to like here, set a keyframe, go to like, I don't know, frame 20, move it forward to like here, again, set a keyframe. So what I want is that this sphere goes through the text, and at that point text explodes, because we set the in thrausi we set it on collision mode on collision. So I want that to happen. I want as soon as the sphere hits the text should explode. Let's see if that happens. And it does not. Okay, yeah, well, it didn't, because I need to set tag, simulation tag, and set it to collider body. So do that. Let's try again. And now it works. Yeah, the pieces looks great. I think I did good call with 70 pieces. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. Okay, and now we will go to plugins and use Magic Slow Motion. So this is a really cool plugin. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this sphere, and I'm just gonna move this keyframe to like, actually I'm gonna set this to 200, and I'm gonna move this keyframe to about like, I don't know, like let's say 200, and the first keyframe, let's go with 60. So that way we have this space right here where nothing happens. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work with Magic Slow Motion. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the start to, let's set 60, and stop to, if that ends at 100, I'm gonna go with like 140. And for gravity, instead of 1,000, let's for now go with 50. Okay, let's see. Gonna check this so I don't see it in preview render. I don't know. So it's frame 60, 60. Where, at which point does it hit the text? At 78. So I want the slow motion to start. Let's start at 79. Okay, let's go back. As you can see, the slow motion starts. I'm gonna change the gravity just to, let's set it back to 1,000, and let's go again. Now I'm gonna set it to 1. Let's see how that works out. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with 1. And let's see if I got the point for slow motion start correctly, because what I want this like hole to be like this big hole right here. You see something like this, but if we move a bit further in time, you can see that this hole sort of like closes down or something like that. As you can see, it just gets filled up. Let's set this to like let's try 82. Well, this is better. I like this. I like this a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this. First, I'm gonna go with 82, and the stop, when the slow motion stops, I'm gonna increase that to like 170. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a camera, just the default camera. And actually, I'm gonna go to settings and change the preset to film, high definition TV, 29.97 frames. Okay, now I'm gonna move back to the start, set the camera, set that the camera is active, I'm gonna zoom in to here. Like that. So that basically your object or logo fills in the screen. So I'm gonna set a keyframe explosion happen at somewhere here. So I'm gonna set a keyframe from like, I don't know, here. And then I'm gonna move, I don't know, like to here and just zoom out. Okay, something like that. Press keyframe again. Let's go back and see how that looks. Okay, nope, does not work for me. Let's go back again. Because what I want the I want the text to sort of zoom. I want the camera to zoom out with the explosion. And that's closer, but still not exactly what I need. Something like this, maybe. Yeah, that's better. I like that. And from here, I'm just gonna keep on zooming, but not so far out, just a bit. So it just keeps on moving, that the camera just does not simply freeze. Okay, and I'm gonna move this like really till the end of the last frame. So yeah, I kind of like this effect. I like how it looks. Okay, let's uncheck the active camera and make sure you do uncheck that, because I've had because what will happen if you right now move the camera, it can mess up your shot. So just make sure you uncheck that. Okay, then you can also see how the camera moves. See, that's cool. So for now, I'm gonna leave that as it is. And we need to continue to work with the light. So I'm gonna set on a spotlight. I'm gonna set the type to square spot. I'm gonna press R on my keyboard for rotation. I'm gonna rotate it 180 degrees, like that. Press E on your keyboard, move it back, like that. And now let's set shadow to shadow map soft and check ambient occlusion on. Visible light to volumetric, and the color to 177, this to 188, and this to 213. Okay, I mean, you can choose a different color. I just like this one, so I'm gonna go with that. Let's move to details. Inner angle, let's set that to 15, aspect ratio to 2.63. Now let's go to visibility. Let's set the edge fall off to 100%. Inner distance to let's set that to 9. Actually, oops. Need to increase outer distance first. So let's set that to 1,371. And the inner distance to 914. And sample distance to 105. Now let's move to noise and set this to visibility. Okay, and now I need to rotate this light. So I'm gonna set this to -90 and apply. Good. Now we also need to change its position. So let's set this to 625. Okay. Y to 120 and X position to 476. Okay, something like that. Let's quickly render this. As you can see in the render view, you can see the sphere. That looks kind of cool. I like that. So I'm gonna also check this so we don't see the sphere in render view. I like it. I like how it looks. Looks pretty creepy, but I like it. So now we need a simple light. So just add a light. The colors this to red for 249, green to 233, and blue to 206. Let's set a bit more intensity to 124. And again, you don't have to go with the same settings as I'm going, and the reason for this light, why I'm adding it, is because I want the, let's go to start actually, I want the text to have some sort of shine. So if I turn this off, and if I render, you can see that the text has some sort of like color and light on them, but I want a bit more of that. So that's why I'm using this light. See, I kind of like this look a bit better. And shadow to shadow map, soft. So let's just move this light back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go maybe with this. Let's drag it back a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this position. Or let's change this to 392 and this to 161. And the Z to 760. So these are the positions I used in the original video, and I kind of thought to see how they look, and I think they look pretty good. So I'm gonna stick with these. But again, you know, you don't have to use the exact same settings, exact same positions, and I'm pretty sure the exact same position won't work for you. So you just move it around. And what I really was going for was that there is a bit of like light shining on every area. If I look for, I think, you know, if I move around, I can see that the light is shining on every sort of edge surface of the object. I mean, not every edge, but like somewhat every, as you can see. So yeah, just move around. I mean, you also don't really have to use that light, but I just thought it looks cool, so I mean, why not? I'm gonna use it. Okay, next what we do, we need another light, so I'm gonna simply duplicate this, and let's set the intensity to 100, shadows to none, colors red to 165, green to 220, and blue to 231. And visible light, we're gonna set that to visible. Okay, now let's go to visibility tab, and let's change the outer distance to 231. Okay, and these are okay. So now I'm gonna change the position. So I'm gonna change the X to 469, Y to 49, and Z to 513. The reason why I'm setting the position down here and not by just moving it around is because I want it to be in an exact same position as in the original preview video. So now what we need to do is simply duplicate this layer and change the color. Red to 225, green to 193, and blue to 247. Now let's go to visibility and change that to 472. Now let's go to noise and set this to both. And yeah, that's good. Now we need to change its position. X position to 90, Y to 125, and Z to 660. And we need to duplicate this layer once more. And for this one, we only need to change the position. X to 905, Y the same, Z to 100, no, the same. Okay, and now I'm gonna go to somewhere like here, and let's see how it looks. Okay, so this is how it looks. And what is this? This looks like Okay, so to fix that issue, we have to change the sample distance, and I'm gonna set it to test to about 50. And as you reduce the sample distance, the smoother the shadows, the light cast will be. Because I set it to 105, it makes the shadows rough, and that's why there was this like weird thing in the side. And now it should be smoother. I'm not sure if it will be gone by 50 centimeters, but I will see how it is. And also, if you reduce this number, it will be smoother, it will be better looking, but it will take a bit longer to render. So as you can see, there are still a bit of issue right here. So I'm gonna go and reduce it to 40. Let's see if that does the trick. Well, they're still there. Okay, let's go with 30. Okay, now they're gone. I think by 35 they will be gone, but it's okay. Anyways, for your intro, probably it's a different setting, so just adjust it until there are no rough shadow edges from this volumetric light. As I said, if you increase this, the shadows that the light casts will be more rougher, and the less the number, the more smoother it gets, as you can see here. Now what we need to do is we need to add texture for our intro. You can create your own texture, you can use your own texture, but I'm gonna use the same texture as I used in the original one. If you want the same texture, well, actually material, then there will be a link in description to download it. And the cool thing also about using thrausi plugin is, let's just move a bit forward in the timeline, about here, is that for example, this material right here, it's called cut inside it. I'm just gonna change color to like red, click OK. And now you can see these are changed to red. And now I'm gonna change this cut outside to, let's say, I don't know, green. And now the text on outside is green, but the inside of it is red. So that's really cool. Okay, so these are the materials that I have outside and inside. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna change the materials. As you can see, I find the ones that I need. So here you can see the yellow ones are for the VFX and the green ones are for the on. One way of doing this would be by just replacing each of these manually, hand by hand. But I don't really want to do that, and a cool trick to just quickly change is by click on the material, hold Alt, and just drag onto the material that we want to change. So when there is this like orange yellowish frame around the material, just let go. Just let go, and it changed. Now I'm gonna duplicate control and drag, and do the same for the VFX text. Now outside, the same thing, Alt click, drag, outside, duplicate, Alt click, drag, and replace. And that's how it's done. Let's see how it looks with this sort of material. Okay, I really like the look. I really do. And let's just move forward until there is this explosion going on. And now let's render and see how that looks. So I think it looks pretty cool, but one thing I want to change for this, I want to set transparency. As you can see right now, I need to use a keyframe for this. Right now it's set to 0, but I'm gonna change it. So as soon as the explosion starts, I'm gonna change the transparency from, let's set actually the transparency right now. So right click, animation, add keyframe, and let's find the place where the text explodes. So about right here, we're gonna set the keyframe for brightness for transparency to 100, and right click animation, add keyframe. I'm gonna take this and move it just 1 frame behind and do exact here. 100, animation, add keyframe, 1 frame back, and set it to 0, animation, add keyframe. And the reason for that is because in the preview version when I was making it, I found out that there are a bit of like you could see through in like these gaps right here. As you can see, it's sort of like, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like here is like you could see the edges of each separate element here, object or piece right here. You could see like edge of it, and I did not like that, so I wanted it to be solid black. So yeah, let's now look, let's go like to here, and let's see how it looks with that transparency turned on. So you can see it turned on, so that's another cool thing. So this is how it looks. I think I'm gonna move these keyframes forward like that much, because I don't know why, I just don't like it currently how it looks. Okay, let's switch to camera view and let's start from this beginning. I think that the camera should be a bit higher. I'm gonna go back and move it up a bit like that. It's hard to tell. I think the animation should be a bit quicker. Something like this. Okay, that's good. And I'm gonna delete this keyframe right there, and I'm gonna zoom in a bit forward to about like here, make a keyframe so it's not zooming out so far. Okay, let's see again from the start. And I'm gonna again delete this because it's somewhat zooming out too far. I'm gonna make it about this far. Actually, it's a problem with this one, so I'm gonna zoom in to like here, set a keyframe, and delete this one. And just make it zoom tiny bit, like not much, just, oops. Just like very, very small amount. This looks cool. I like how some elements fly past. Say like here. So yeah, this looks cool. One thing to keep in mind when you render this explosion with thrausi is that for example, if you render from frame 60 and let's say you render it till 80, then you come back tomorrow, you start again from frame 80 till like, I don't know, 120. Every time you render it, the pieces will be in a different location. They don't have like animated path that they go along. Each time they're in separate positions. So for example, let's keep an eye on these both. Okay, at 120th frame. So let's go again. Go, 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 go. And you can see there are no such pieces anymore there. So that's something to keep in mind. When you render from like frame 60 till the end where you want your animation to end. Don't stop at any point here because it will ruin. I did that mistake. Well, I have done that many times. But yeah, just keep in mind that. That's important. So because I've already rendered this out and I have the renders from the preview one, I'm not gonna render this whole thing again. So I'm just gonna use the same renders I used for the preview video. I hope that's okay with you guys. So I will see you guys in part 2 of this tutorial. Make sure right now that you set the place you want to save it, set the in what sort of format you want to save. I think I saved it in JPEG format, and use like ambient occlusion, global illumination. If you want depth of field, that will be a pretty cool looking effect with the camera. That's like, I think that would look pretty awesome with this effect. So yeah, just render it, make like all of these settings, and then just click render, and I will see you guys in the part 2 of this tutorial, which will be in After Effects. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and move on to part 2. See ya.